Good Wednesday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jake Stevenson.
And welcome to Keep Her Quick, your latest local news and weather commercial free in about 17 minutes or less. We're going to jump right over to weather because, Jake, not a whole lot has changed from yesterday on into today.
No, there really hasn't. Taking a look at our weather headlines, we have 4 days of sunshine ahead, a continuation of tomorrow, although we are a few degrees warmer today than we were on Tuesday. We're going to see highs at mid-80s across our region with a slight cool off this weekend. Now, as we descend down into the Blue Mountain foothills, earlier this morning we were at 53 in Walla Walla, 54 in Milton Freewater, and then 51 in Pendleton. Across the Tri-Cities, 52 in Pasco was the cool spot, and Richland the warm spot at 55. 52 in Mesa, and then 51, a little bit cooler, in Hermiston. Over in the Yakima Valley, 49 in Grandview was the cool spot there, and then 54 in Moxie and 55 in White Swan was the warm spot, 51 in Yakima itself, and then 46 in Ellensburg, the coolest part of the western half of our viewing region.
Thanks, Jeff. Jake, we begin this morning in the Tri-Cities. Attention drivers, the westbound Dupertail lanes through Queensgate Drive are closed at State Route 240 until further notice. Richland police are investigating a fatal car versus pedestrian crash near the intersection. Folks needing to get to Queensgate will have to use I-182, and this is a developing story. We'll share more details as they become available. And several ICE arrests have been made in the valley over the past week. Local families have been expressing concern. Jamie Ortiz has been separated from her husband since he was arrested by ICE on September 8th.
I brought his prima facie, I brought his application for his papers, I brought, his work permit, copy of his work permit. I said, you need to let him go. He's protected because he's got the prima facie. And this is their words to me. I don't give two your husband has a work permit. I don't give two craps. Your husband has a prima facie. We do what the heck we want to do, but in bad words.
Ortiz says that ICE agents laughed in her face and wrapped her husband's phone in tinfoil so he could not be tracked. Fire crews are still working to contain the wildcat fire burning near Goose Prairie and Bumping Lake. The fire has been burning for about 3 weeks now, and so far it's burned over 8,700 acres. Currently just 8% contained. It hasn't grown much, say leaders. Firefighters are also monitoring the ridgeline above Bumping Lake as the fire continues to move downslope. In health news this morning, the Washington State Department of Agriculture has confirmed the state's first case of West Nile virus this year in a Yakima County horse. They say a 1-year-old thoroughbred tested positive on September 11th after showing neurological symptoms. West Nile virus is spread by mosquitoes and can affect horses, birds, and people, with confirmed virus activity in Yakima, Benton, and Grant counties. Health leaders encourage everyone to take measures to avoid getting bitten by mosquitoes and make sure there's no standing water on your property where mosquitoes can breed. More information can be found up on our website, KIMATV.com. And the Pasco City Council continues to decide whether to remove fluoride from the city's drinking water. And there's one more public feedback meeting. It's happening today. If you would like to be heard on the issue, the feedback session will be in the Pasco City Council chambers at 6 p.m. this evening. You can also register to attend virtually on the City of Pasco website. Fluoride has been added to the city water supply since 1998. And sticking with municipal news, Cle Elum's Chapter 9 bankruptcy case is moving ahead with a court-approved settlement conference scheduled for October 21st. The case centers on a failed 2011 development deal with City Heights Holdings for a 962-home project. After delays, the city was ordered to pay more than $22 million, an amount that has now grown to nearly $26 million with interest and legal fees. A judge has been appointed to oversee settlement talks. Objections to the bankruptcy petition are due by December 31st, with the city required to file its debt restructuring plan by the end of March. If you're missing a boat, you'll want to take a look at a couple of pictures posted by the Benton County Sheriff's Office. They say deputies were responding to suspicious circumstances at the Chandler Dam Preserve in Benton City, where a boat had been dumped. Take a look at this. A witness saw a man with a headlamp around the boat, but the man was gone when deputies arrived, and the boat has no identifying marks to track down an owner. There's the boat there. If you recognize that boat, the Benton County Sheriff's Office would like to hear from you via their non-emergency line. And switching gears this morning, the folks at Ski White Pass want you to know about some upgrades that'll be ready for the upcoming season and others that'll be happening after this season. There will be a new terrain-based learning area that they say will help beginners learn faster and more confidently. They've upgraded their snowmaking equipment that will help them boost early season coverage on key runs. And the Day Lodge now has expanded indoor seating with new mountain views. After the upcoming season is over, Chair 4 will be replaced with a modern quad lift, and a new beginner-focused lodge is in the works near Lot C, which will offer rentals, lessons, and easy slope access. To find out more, you can head over to our website. And cold weather is on the way, but it is still summer, though. In the meantime, the Kittitas County has been working to determine where their next cold weather shelter is going to be. Hope Source, the organization that ran the cold weather shelter last year, was the only organization that submitted a proposal. Last year's shelter was at the Ellensburg Rodeo grounds, but it'll be changing this year. Last winter, the shelter saw an average of 11 people at night, but they did host as many as 17 people some nights. Kittitas County commissioners will be discussing Hope Source's proposal soon. And with that, let's jump right over to meteorologist Jake Stevenson to talk the weather. Winter is quite a ways away off, especially when you're looking at the temperatures right now or for today in the mid-80s.
Yeah, the mid to high 80s, even in some spots, are going to be dominant across our region. As you can see here on the high temperature map for the eastern half of our viewing region, we are going to be in the mid to high 80s across the Tri-Cities, 86 in Kennewick and 89 even in Richland. A little bit north of Richland, somewhere between Richland and Hanford, is where we're probably going to see the warmest spot for the day. In Walla Walla County, we're looking at 87 in Walla Walla today, and then in Oregon, 86 in Pendleton this afternoon. As we head over to the western half of our viewing region, though, we're going to be looking at 89 in Grandview and Toppenish this afternoon, 88 in Yakima, and then 86 in Ellensburg, a little bit cooler than the rest of the Yakima Valley. For our lows tonight, we're going to be looking at 59 in Walla Walla tomorrow morning, 56 in Pendleton, and 52 in and around the Tri-Cities. It'll be a little bit cooler in the eastern half of the the lower Yakima Valley. 49 in Sunnyside, then 50 in Yakima, and 47 in Ellensburg will be the cool spot for the region tomorrow morning. Now, the warmth that we have seen spread across our region yesterday and will be continuing throughout the week today is thanks to this big ridge of high pressure that's moved all the way up into Canada. But over the course of this week, while warm temperatures will be sticking around, the ridge will slowly be flattening out. Temperatures will stay the same, but they aren't going to get warmer or cooler necessarily until we get this slight trough that starts to come into our region on Sunday. This will cool temperatures down 5 to 10 degrees, bring in some clouds and maybe even a chance for rain. So let's take a look at some computer model runs to see what exactly the rain playout is going to be. This is the European model from the European Union. And as you can see, by the time we get to Sunday, we've got some showers in and around the Columbia Basin into the Yakima Valley, the Kittitas Valley, and then the Cascade Ridgeline as well at noontime on Sunday, although the Blue Mountains are pretty dry with this model run. However, if we switch over and take a look at the American forecast, this forecast model is called the GFS. We're going to be seeing a little bit of a different story. We still have this storm that comes into our region, but the rain is mostly secluded to the Kittitas Valley, the Cascade Ridgeline, and then slight difference here, but the Blue Mountains as well. So we'll be tracking this storm closely as we move throughout the rest of the week and into the weekend. Let's take a look now at our 7-day forecast in Ellensburg, high of 85 today. Then as we move through the work week, we have a few passing clouds tomorrow on Thursday, 84 on Friday, and then 81 on Saturday, and we really cool off by Sunday to 73 as that slight chance of showers moves into the region. In Walla Walla, 85 today. We're sticking at 85 through to Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we start to cool off a little bit with passing clouds on Sunday and a high 79. In Yakima, 85 today. We'll be sticking at 85 with abundant sunshine through Saturday. Then on Sunday, that slight chance of rain showers does come into play as we cool off into the high 70s. And last but not least, in the Tri-Cities, a high of 85 today. We stick at 80 85 through to Saturday with persistent sunshine. And then on Sunday, a few passing clouds come to the region with a high of 81.
Thanks, Jake. In state news this morning, the organization Let's Go Washington is promoting an initiative that aims to prohibit transgender athletes from playing on girls' sports teams. They want athletes to participate on teams that align with their gender at birth. KMA's Aiden Connor reports on the differing opinions of the issue.
Current Washington state law states that athletes who want to compete on gendered sports teams must present a physical that proves their biological sex.
And our initiative says you have to use that physical, and if you're only biological females can participate in sports that are meant to be designated as female sports.
Brian Haywood with Let's Go Washington believes that there are not enough restrictions on biological men playing on women's sports teams.
Suddenly we have this insane ideology that says, hey, any biological male that wants to, because there's really no restrictions on what they're saying. Like they have no gates at all. So any biological male that wants to can participate without anyone challenging them in women's sports. And that's wrong.
Washington State Representative Monica Stonier says that Let's Go Washington's approach is another effort to create a divide between families and public schools.
I think this is just another example of the far-right political machine trying to create problems where there are none and playing politics with our families' relationships with their public schools.
Stonier says that the sample size is not large enough for action to be taken at this magnitude.
So we're talking about 5 to 10 student athletes in the entire state, some of them perhaps not even competitively participating in sports. And we're talking about a state and a country where we have passed laws making sure that everyone can participate in school sports.
A frequent topic of conversation surrounds bathroom and locker room issues when it comes to transgender athletes in youth sports. But Stonier says that coaches and staff already have those issues under control. As the initiative has sparked debate, the outcome is far from decided. Reporting for Action News, I'm Aiden Connor.
KMA's Aiden Connor, thank you. And Let's Go Washington needs to collect more than 300,000 valid signatures by January 2nd to be submitted to the Washington State Legislature. Switching gears this morning, the last time you filled up your tank, you might have had to take a second look at those prices because Washington is now tied for the most expensive state in the country for gas. According to AAA, the average price for a gallon of regular gas in Washington is $4.65, now the same price as California, who typically has the most expensive gas. If you fill up in Oregon, it's a little cheaper at $4.27 a gallon, though all three states are, of course, way above the national average of $3.20 a gallon. So why is the Evergreen State the most expensive? Well, you guessed it. Taxes. On July 1st, Washington's new gas tax added another 6 cents a gallon for road projects. Our per gallon tax rate is now a little over 55 cents. Also, every year, our per gallon prices for unleaded will rise 2%. to adjust for inflation. The state CO2 emissions tax from the Climate Commitment Act also went up another 6 cents. Those who disagree with the law that requires businesses to pay fees for air pollution blame it for increasing gas prices. As for what folks are paying locally, Yakimites have seen their gas prices go up since last year, costing locals 56 cents more than they do today. The price now sitting at about $4.40 a gallon, 4 cents higher than it was a week ago. For folks living in the Tri-Cities, it's also costing significantly more now than it did a year ago. Today's price, $4.45 a gallon, 60 cents more than last year, 7 cents more than last week. As for Walla Walla residents, they're still paying the highest locally. It now costs about $4.67 a gallon to fill up their tank, up 9 cents from last week, up 35 in the last year. Kennewick firefighters are showing off their new ambulances with enhanced safety features. They have 3 new ones. Kennewick Fire Station number 5 pushed out one of their new ambulances to begin service. This is one of the 3 new ambulances along with that new fire engine. Some of the features include a new floodlights, an eco-friendly fuel management system, and lights with new LED technology. Plus, the compartment in the back is designed to help EMTs care for their patients more comfortably.
Staff is very excited from a staffing standpoint. It was really fun to watch them come in. It took a long time to get them certified and get them equipped, and so it was fun to watch as the ops crews put everything together, and our mechanics took a lot of time with them to get them up and ready. So I will have to say I was very excited the first time I saw them driving down the street. I'm like, hey, that's one of the new ambulances.
The city is now focused on adding some additional staffing to help improve response times. There are more than 24 new U.S. citizens in our area. U.S. District Judge Mary Dimke presiding over yesterday's naturalization ceremony at the federal courthouse in Richland. These new citizens come from 6 different countries, including China, El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico, Ukraine, and the United Kingdom. Each applicant gave a speech showing their appreciation and spoke about their journey. Ivy Braceno is one of those applicants who received her citizenship yesterday. She says it was about time to take that step to allow her kids to continue to live the American dream.
I've, visited Mexico once or twice, and I have realized that my kids basically have everything we ever dreamed of. And it just kind of got handed to them because of my immigrant sacrifices and my father's sacrifice. So that made me be more excited, and honestly makes me happy that my kids have everything that I wanted to as a little girl.
Now, all those new citizens will be able to vote after registering, of course. Speaking of registering, yesterday also was voter registration day, the annual day set aside to remind everyone that they have the ability to have their voice heard by casting a ballot. Our next election is November 4th, and the 18-day voting period starts on October 17th. Online and mail registrations must be received 8 days before the election day. That would be on October 27th. However, you can register in person all the way up until 8 p.m. on Election Day. And the grandstands at the Benton County Fairgrounds are getting a new look with a groundbreaking ceremony held yesterday. Take a look at this. The remodel of the grandstands at McDaniels Arena will double the capacity from 3,000 to 6,000. The improvements also include modernizing the restrooms and concession areas. The goal is to host more events and attract more travelers into the community. The Benton County Fairgrounds have 70 years of history, and the fairground leaders want to keep that tradition alive.
I hope they're going to appreciate it. And just see past the, there was a building, it was unrepairable, it was beyond its useful life, and that we're trying to preserve the tradition for the community. We're going to give them a nicer experience. We're going to have a really nice shade wall on top of the building that should make it a lot more enjoyable, cooler during those hot summer months.
Now they hope to finish the project by next summer with the grand opening for the community. And that does it for us. Thank you for watching this episode of Keeper Quick. For more local news and weather, you can head over to our websites, Keeper and KIMATV.com, as well as our Facebook pages. But while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with our latest mini newscasts Monday through Friday. Have a whimsical Wednesday, everybody.